come eat with me and watch what I eat as a nutritionist and how I eat mindfully. So I have gotten a few requests from people to record myself eating a meal without speeding it up, without cutting it, without giving breaks or anything like that, so that people can see how I eat intuitively, mindfully, and how I balance outside distractions as I eat my meals when I eat alone. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm going to show you what I make for lunch and also my process, my eating process, and I'm also going to be throwing in a bunch of really helpful mindful eating tips. And some of these mindful eating tips I have never shared before, so I think that you can also get a lot of helpful information from this. So you can play this video when you start your meal, and that way we can kind of eat mindfully together, and you can kind of see how long it takes me to eat, when I pause, when I take breaks, how I assess my hunger on the intuitive eating hunger scale, and all of these things. So I'm going to be having a pretty quick, easy lunch. I'm leaving for vacation in like a day, so I don't want to buy lots of ingredients that I'm not gonna end up eating. I'm gonna like have this mix. There's bulgur, rice, and quinoa in it with like some tomatoes. And this is a good way to get in some whole grains as well as some protein. So I'm gonna have that, and it's super easy. Just put it in the pan and let it cook. And then I'm gonna have some split pea puree, and again, split peas are a pretty good source of protein, and there is some fiber, some vitamins in there as well. And just to add a little source of freshness, I'm gonna be having some cherry tomatoes, and I'm gonna also be having a like peach for dessert. So I have everything ready. I tried to set this up in a way that you would kind of see everything as much as possible and see how I eat, and you can just eat with me and kind of see how I am able to eat mindfully in a realistic way, let's say. Because of course, ideally when you eat mindfully, you would be solely focused on your food, not doing anything else, not tuning into any outside distractions. And that's definitely what I recommend at first when you're new to mindful eating and when you're learning how to do it. But also, since I'm pretty used to eating mindfully, I feel that I'm able to do so even when I am doing something else. So in this case, I'm gonna be reading while I eat, and I'm just gonna kind of show you the process. Also, before I start eating, I'm gonna rate my hunger on the hunger and fullness scale. If you're not familiar with this scale, it's basically a scale that goes from 1 to 10, 1 being like you're ravenous, starving, like super, super hungry, and then 10 being you're super, super full after like Christmas dinner. And 5 is like a neutral ground. And I really recommend that you use this scale if you want to learn to be more in tune with your hunger and fullness cues. And I have a whole video on that you can check out right here or in the description. So anyway, I'm gonna be using that scale. I'm gonna be rating myself, and right now I would say I'm pretty hungry because anytime I film videos, I'm usually hungrier because it always takes longer to get everything ready and to actually start eating than it takes me like in real life. So I would say that I'm maybe at a 3. I'm gonna be enjoying my lunch while I read my book. Currently, I read it on like the Kindle app. I'm reading My Body by Emily Ratajkowski, really good. And I'm gonna explain a little bit as I advance in the meal, but usually I can do both, but sometimes I like to take moments where I focus on the book when like it's something pretty intense and I just stop eating for a little bit. And oppositely, sometimes I really like to focus on the food before I actually get back to the book. I like to start out the first few bites of the meal without any distractions. I find that this makes me appreciate all the different tastes and textures and flavors more, and then I can kind of go in and read. And also why I do that is because I feel that when you're really hungry, if you first start eating and doing something else when you're distracted, chances are you're just gonna like shovel food down without really paying attention to it. But if you take the first few bites to kind of dim your hunger a little tiny bit, then it's gonna be better. You don't have to do it, it's just like something that I do.
would've put it all on hold. Now I'm playing in the sand till it turned to gold. Midas hands, but we all grow old. Can't have my soul, let my heart turn stone. Guess I gotta say it twice, it ain't my fault. Every little thing got a price, that's what I thought. That's what they taught. Yeah, I'ma take my chance till I drop. You know this ain't the time for the two of us. Ooh, I ain't got space to be thinking about growing older. Done my thinking, me and you. Yeah, guess it's over. It was a rainbow, but was sinking. Lost my hue. I might come running back when our hearts get back on track. When the stars line up, that's that. I've been attached, just looking out. We move so fast, was moving south. My secret sauce, boo in and out. Miss how you gloss that pretty mouth. You know this ain't the time for the two of us. Ooh, I ain't got space to be thinking about you.
Gloss that, love it when you toss it back. Love it when you talk back. Girl, you get me off track, so off-white tracksuit, just so I can floss, yeah. With my new biddy, she ain't let my soft yet. Could've been you, still feeling on my ditty, but you lost that. You had real privileges for this, all snap. Now you getting time out, cause you hit it where my heart's at. Got me going deeper than Amari when that ball snap. Heard you sold your soul on Macari, got you call lacking. Now I'm next door, at the party while you jaw jacking. You know it's Rashad, in the rarest and the raw fashion. I'm still trying to figure how this all happened, huh?
You know this.
So now I would say that I'm about a third done with my meal, and I would rate myself like a 4.5 to 5 on the scale. I would say I'm like a tiny bit hungry still, but almost getting close to neutral. However, this neutral is not the state I want to be in when I finish eating. I want to be at a good 6 or 7 because I don't want to be hungry again like 1 hour after my meal. And the way that I kind of gauge whether I've eaten enough in a meal is by looking at how many hours I can go without needing to eat another meal without feeling hungry. So for instance, say that I would feel satisfied with this meal, then I would be hungry like 2 hours later. Then I can be like, okay, maybe I didn't actually eat enough then in order to actually satisfy my hunger and keep me full for enough time. So right now I'm just reading a very intense part of the book, so I felt that I didn't really want to focus on the food, so I really wanted to just focus on the book. So now that I've done that for like a couple minutes, I'm gonna focus back on the food and maybe, can I eat and talk at the same time? I don't know how people do mukbangs, like, it feels weird to me to talk at the same time. Probably the mic is picking up all of my eating sounds. But a little thing on mindful eating is that if you learn to do it, let's say on your own, following all the different tips I give in my videos, and I have a playlist on mindful and intuitive eating that you can check out. If you learn to do that on your own, I think that it'll really give you the tools to be able to focus on your food even when you are surrounded by other people or like by any type of distractions, even when you have to eat like really quickly. And I think that it's a good skill to learn, and it can also transfer into other aspects of life. Just being able to be present while you do something, be aware while you do something, even amidst like chaos. It's also really interesting if you really focus on your meal throughout like the entire span of your meal, because you'll notice that when you first start eating, the first bites are so delicious, and it's like you're tasting this explosion of different tastes, and it's pretty overwhelming because it tastes so good. But then as time goes on, it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, it's good, but I'm also kind of eating because it's there. And this may in part be explained by the fact that when you are super hungry, all of your like receptors in your brain, your taste buds are super activated, super ready to receive the food, and it just tastes so good to you because you are hungry. But then as time goes on, it's kind of like the food doesn't create as much pleasure as it used to because your body gets like less and less interested by it. It's kind of like, well, I mean, it doesn't taste bad, but it's not like this delicious thing that you absolutely need to be getting more of. So that's why I think it's really interesting as your meal goes on to really be in tune with yourself and check in like, how is this tasting? Am I still enjoying this? Is this pleasurable to me? How hungry am I? Also, just because you're not hungry for one type of food in particular, doesn't mean that you're not hungry. Like, for instance, I'm probably gonna be able to finish my plate, not be hungry for more type of food like that, but I'm still gonna be hungry, like emotionally hungry for some type of sweet dessert. Which is why I don't like the saying that says you're really hungry if you could eat like a salad. If you couldn't eat the salad, then you're not really hungry. That's like totally untrue. I get hungry for specific foods all the time. That doesn't mean that I'm not really hungry. That's just, there are different types of hunger.
3, 2, 1. Arguing again, arguing about something so simple. Make it clear, tell me why you're running back to him. Feeling insecure, feeling like there's more to your character. Every tear that you cry is worth it in the end. But baby, tell me, how have you not figured it out? Ooh, dry your eyes. The world can always give you reasons to cry. Understand, you're stronger than you know. There's power in your bones. The flowers that you've grown were watered by your tears. You say you're growing old. One day you're gonna fold. Amazing how you go.
Okay, I'm gonna go get my dessert. I'm going to fill up my water, and I'll be right back.
Into the garden that you grew, you would finally know that you don't have to be somebody new. So you finally running far away from your history, but there's clouds over your head every time, and they keep following you with no clue of what to do. I can make them vanish if you let me shine. You like to put somebody else's happiness before your own. I see the way to.
Okay, so I'm done with my lunch, and I feel pretty satisfied with it. It's not the most filling thing ever, to be honest. I'm probably gonna be having a snack in maybe like 3 to 4 hours, but it was pretty good, and I would say that right now I would be at like a 6.5 on the scale. I feel like a little fuller than that just because I just finished eating, but I know that like in a few minutes I'll settle around my number, which is like 6.5. And I think that it's important to know that if you like to rate your hunger on the hunger scale, it's good to let yourself wait maybe like 5 to 10 minutes before you actually stop eating, because it may actually change the way that you feel. For some people, if they wait like 5 to 10 minutes, they'll actually feel fuller. For others, they'll feel not as full. For me, like I tend to feel not as full. So I like to wait 5 to 10 minutes and see, okay, am I still full? If I'm not, I'm just gonna go eat a little something more. If I am, then great. That's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.